Good evening, everyone. I'll begin the meeting by acknowledging the continuing connection of Aboriginal people to country, culture and community, including traditional custodians of this land, the Wadundee and Kaniang people of the Noongar Nation, paying our respects to elders past and present. And I will declare this meeting open at 5 p.m. A reminder that this meeting is being live streamed and recorded in accordance with Council Policy EMCP2. Members of the public are reminded that no other visual or audio recording of the meeting by any other means is allowed without the permission of the chairperson. While every endeavour has been made to only record those who are actively participating, the loud noises or comments can be picked up in the recording. And firstly, welcome to everyone in the gallery. I'm glad you got in before it rained too much more. And also welcome to those participating via live stream. 10 councillors present are Councillor Bailey, Councillor Anita Lindeman, Councillor Grant Patrick, Councillor Tyler Hall, Councillor Leanne Ringe, Councillor Reggie Keown, Councillor Amanda McNabb and Deputy President Alex Purick. And my name is Vivian McCarthy and I'm Shire President. Staff present are our CEO, Nick O'Connor, our Director of Operations, Roscoe Marshall, and our Administration Officer, Corporate Services, Samantha Farquhar. Councillors, I'd like to move, before we go any further, to suspend Clause 8.2, members to rise, from Meeting Procedures Local Law 2017. Would someone like to second that? Thank you. All in favour? We have apologies for the meeting. Two staff members that we would normally have here are... Just get some titles up in front of me. So our apologies are from Lauren Clifford, Executive Manager Corporate, and Colin Young, Director of Finance and Community. We have no approved leave of absence at 2.2, and at 2.3, we'll ask councillors, do you have any applications for leave of absence? No. We have no announcements to make tonight, so that takes us on to item 4, declarations of interest. And a reminder that Division 6, Subdivision 1 of the Local Government Act 1995 states that care should be taken by all councillors, committee members and staff to ensure that a financial or impartiality interest is declared and that they refrain from voting on any matter which is considered to come within the ambit of the Act. We do have one declaration of interest this evening from Councillor Leanne Ringe, who has declared an impartiality interest in relation to item 9.3.7, Donnybrook Baling Up Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Inc., committee representative, as she is a current general member of the committee. Thank you, Leanne. Item 5, public question time. At 5.1, we have no responses to previous public questions that were taken on notice, which takes us along to 5.2, public question time. And this is where we ask the public if you have any questions. No. Thank you. So item 6, presentations, for which we have none. At 6.1, petitions. 6.2 brings us through to 6.3, deputations. We have 3 deputations this evening, and just a little outline on deputations for those who are making them. Your deputations can take up to 10 minutes, at which point we will say, time's up, and then hopefully you'll be open to questions from the councillors. And then the other important elements of a deputation are that you are not able to introduce any additional information that isn't already have been included in the reports that are before council, the recommendations and the report that are before council. And you can only provide your deputation on the matter to hand, so the matter that council is considering. Okay, and now we'll do the presentations in the order that they were received. So that we have 3, and the first is from Arthur Parsons in relation to item 9.3.1, Smashed Avo Festival event application. We got the microphone already? Yeah. So yes now, and oh, and just before you start, Mr. Parsons.
Yes.
I think I have another deputation request.
I think Mr. Cotterino, are you going to also speak as that deputation?
After?
So it's going to be one deputation with 2 speakers. So one deputation, 2 speakers, Murray? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Thank you, Mr. Contarino.
Hello everyone, how are you? And also Vivian may have an extension. It might require maybe 2 more minutes of mine.
Yes.
Okay, let's get started. I've met most of you. My name is Arthur Parsons. I grew up in this town, and you guys are aware I've obviously brought the Hippie Festival into the town to bring backpackers in the region. So let's start here. Page 1, Smash Avo Festival. Who we are. Smash Avo is more than an initiative. It's a homegrown New Year event bringing people together for music, camping, connection and celebration with deep respect for the land, locals and one another. Held over 4 days on a 120-acre farm at Newlands East Road, the event is run by a local team designed to enrich the community, not disrupt it. Our top 4 core values are community first, local residents, businesses, community clubs and the environment are always considered a priority. Safety and respect, professional operation and clear expectations to create a safe and respectful environment. Inclusion with care, everyone is welcomed and expected to respect the community and its standards. Sustainable practices from waste, noise to transport. Impact is managed with care and compliance. Oh, sorry, click this thing. This comes from 2022 to 2023. This initiative started as Meliora, built to bring backpackers back to the region post-COVID. The Shire approved the New Year's Music Festival at Newlands. 3 events in 4 years. 2025 to 2026, it was rebuilt as the Smashed Arrow Festival under the Illuma Party, same site, same scale. Lessons from the early years went into this plan that you see in front of you tonight to ensure a safer and more community-focused integrated event. Year 1, we delivered 2,742 persons on site, 2,500 ticketed, 400 participants were approved over 4 days with 0 extreme incidences requiring escalation to Shire or police. Noise acoustics consultants on site 24/7 with 3 external monitoring points, every plan lodged, every condition met, with a post-event debrief completed with Shire. Smash Arrow successfully mobilised the event from approval through to delivery within a short preparation window, establishing the systems, suppliers and operational knowledge now available for future events. According to the Marketed Community Scoreboard, you've asked for this. Create and support new music events catered to young people, e.g. live music events, more support and promotion of festivals and community events by local government to bring visitors into town. The town needs to add more fun activities for the young people because it's very boring here, according to some. Festivals, markets and events, one of the Shire's 6 main priorities, scoreboard 58 versus industry 62, down from 61. The economic impact summary, I'm going to be using the Esoteric Festival. It's a festival from Donald in Victoria as a benchmark of local visitor spend. Reference point, it's estimated $15 million come from 11,000 attendees for the town of Donald in Victoria. That's $1,363 per attendee in estimated local economic uplift, including transport, food, accommodations, services and supplies. I scale projections at Smashed Arrow is 2,900 and contributors. With conservative estimates in today's economy, we're going to put it at the benchmark of 60% at $820 per person, equating to $2.3 million injected into the local economy. Mid-range estimates will put us at about 2.9. What's included in the spend is local accommodation, hotels, I'm just going to go for the main dot points, dining, retail, transport, employment and suppliers. It's just a win for the town. With the social media platform, we really advertise big on the 88 days for the backpackers to come into this region. We push really big, and when you pass through Donnybrook, stop, shop and support your local. From here you can see close to 14,000 people viewed this. Oh, sorry, I did not click that. There's the metrics, give you guys 10 seconds to look at it. Just under 14,000. And according to all of the data dump we've done, we roughly bring 5.5% of all local visitors, overnight visitors to this town, based on your records, and we make up 0.5% of your GRP of 457 million. What I want to touch base on is this is a proper event done through council and compliance with proper policies and proper procedures. And that is a controlled event, permitted, planned and aligned with community values, fully compliant with our council regulators, professional fire safety plans, emergency protocols, licensed security contractors on site, defined fencing, gate access, crowd control, coordinated traffic, pre-approved noise management strategies, insurance, permits, risk assessments, enables police and council oversight, not surprises. Unfortunately, the community, when these events do not go ahead, rogue events pop up all over across WA and Australia. When regulated events are not supported, demand does not simply disappear. It can shift towards unregulated underground events that operate without appropriate planning, safety, oversight or accountability, ultimately creating greater risks for communities and the WA local governments. No formal event approval, unregulated gatherings, events on public or private land, no emergency access, police stretch thin, increase of risk of public disorder, council reputation risk, trust at risk, no insurances, no indemnity, no one's protected. Some might actually have the question, what are we doing? I'm not too sure if everyone's gone through 200 pages of paperwork and policies. I know it's a lot to go through, but big question is going to be how are we dealing with fire? We've actually contracted in our own fire brigade team. They're called WA Fire. They're a private self-sufficient fire response team engaged for the event, personal trained and experienced across level 1, 2 and 3 instances. 2 dedicated appliances on site carrying approximately 4,000 litres of water with 3 additional appliances supplied by the event at 10,000 litres each. Not reliant on or not intending to draw on local volunteer brigade resources and community resources. The response team from the Blazing Swan Festival out in Coolin. The property has been inspected by the team with no concerns of the proposed attendance for this summertime. Strategic response and evacuation planning is in place should an accident occur. I just want to bring up this slide. Like I said, I don't know if you guys have read through the paperwork, but we did a scheduled burn off in May. This is currently the forestry on my property with no leaf litter. It's all gone. A scheduled fuel reduction burn was completed in May. Burn significantly reduced accumulated vegetation, combustible fuel loads throughout the forested areas. The treed forests now provide a lower fuel buffer between surrounding vegetation and the event area. Reduce fuel loads, help lower the potential fire intensity, and slow the fire spread, and now acts as a formal fire break. This forms part of a broader perspective bushfire mitigation strategy supported by dedicated firefighting resources, water supply and emergency planning. I'm just going to run through the safety and compliance of year 2, because every year that we do this, even from the start from Eliora till now, even though it's exchanged hands, we're always improving consistently. What can we do better? How can we make it safer? We never want incidents. We don't want our insurance premiums going up. Land preparation and controlled burn-off, land irrigation program about to roll out, rock picking of high traffic zones. So I will say that. We had about 70 incidences of stub toes into last year, so we're going to remove those and make sure there's no more stub toes this year. On-site dedicated health and safety officers during the build and pack down alongside with daily toolbox meetings, documented controlled SOPs, swims for machinery and high-risk work, internal traffic widening in the camp area, 5 metres to 6.8 metres, VMS and static signage in the town approach, patron welfare stage misting contracted safe space triage, 70 ranges, 4,000 metres, because we only had 500 metres last year and it wasn't enough lighting and it caused some concern. For the camping region, 3-point securities instead of 1, waste upgrade facility, getting 4 22-metre bins for the Men's Shed Lions Club to have their recycling station receive all the proceed donations. Safety and compliance in action, year 2 introduces strengthened governance, documented procedures, active and supervision, ensuring risk are identified for control and... Oh, yeah, sorry. If I do again, can someone just let me know? Documented procedures, ensuring that the continuous monitored throughout the event cycle. I won't go too much into this. We all know these kinds of policies, SWIMs, VHS, OSOPs, clearly written emergency evacuation plans, designated health safety advisors, daily toolbox meetings. It seems to be, since we started this back in the day, it was almost a cowboy show, but now we tend to run it like a mining camp. And actually most of our staff and people involved in this are actually from the mining camps. Supervisors, people in high up positions. So we have really good, really good policies, procedures. I want to touch base on the Shire strategic planning. The 2 main ones, 2.2 and 9.2. Facilitate and encourage, support more diverse range of festivals and community events. We're the only large event the Shire is built for an all-age event. 9.2, to encourage more people to stop, shop and experience the Shire. Touching base on the 2.3 GRP. I want to go through some objectives of 1.1, attract and retain more adults and families with children, inclusive family-friendly event is what we are. Develop community readiness, natural disaster emergencies. We've burnt the fuel loads off and we're doing all other kinds of measures on the property to ensure that. Facilitate a sustainable low-waste circular economy, promote containers of change, which we have the Lions Men's Shed Club on board for that. Community champions and organisations access alternative sources of revenue, being the Men's Shed, Newlands Hole. Our next milestones to commit to will be the football club and the fire brigade. Another one that's interesting as an objective, we deliver on 10.13. 10.13, support the local backpacker industry to host events and community barbecues to attract, engage with them and retain backpackers into the region for agriculture purposes. Now, we're not hosting a barbecue, but we are hosting an event. Built in 2022 to 2023 to bring back, well, the Meliora, as it was known, was built as an exchange. We get to have the festival. We also you guys get a big bonus, which is bringing the 88-day workforce back to the Donnybrook orchards after the post-COVID pandemic. Farmers now, to this day, report a surplus of workers, calling the seasons covered. Backpackers living in the district get a discount local ticket tier via the bottle shop. With Celebrations, one of our partners in town, many of these people that live here, these backpackers, actually volunteer for us. The community integration that's committed for 2026 to 2027, already integrated year 1, 108 local surrounding residents accepted complimentary free tickets to enter in the close vicinity of the festival. The Men's Shed Lions Club on-site presence and hospitality set up for recycling can donations revenue. Newlands Hole continued support in line with the council plan. Whole Revitalisation Initiative, ice bag sale proceeds going to them. This year's next milestone, the Mighty Dons Football Club, sponsorships, jerseys and oval signage, and the local volunteer Bushfire Brigade, a donation of proceeds from the festival in a thanks for what they do to town. So I might have the question about my property, is it a farm or is it a venue? It's a farm. A working farm, 361 days of the year, 120 acres of agricultural land, no change of sort. The festival is a temporary use under the event's approval as the officer recommends. A working farm, the other 361 days, sheep, lambs and pasture now. I now currently have a marine and beekeeping licence now in progress and planned vegetable farming. Every improvement in the farm improvement, including irrigation, tanks of water, access road, track for agriculture trucks, trees, burn-offs, improve the agriculture to use to protect the livestock. Nothing permanent for the event, stages, fencing, sea containers, shelters come down and pack down, footprint unchanged. four event days of the year being 1.1% of the whole per annum, 8% of the year including the build and the pack down.
Mr. Parsons,
Oh.
just 1 minute to go to get to your 12 minutes.
I can get my, one sec.
You did, but it's 1 minute to go before you reach 12.
Right, okay. Build calendar. I just want to go for the build calendar quick. General build, we're going to fit in with the 10 days when we have a mass rollout of people, but we are requesting for early access for a specialist crew of 6 to 12 people in order to make sure it's safe, delivered safely. For additional setup and pack down times, lets us be able to do it methodically during daylight hours, reducing rush construction, vehicle movements and fatigue-related risk. This is just from my insurance broker. He sent a letter of recommendation that 10 days is generally not sufficient. All events usually have between 4 to 6 weeks. And here's another festivals throughout Australia. They get about 6 weeks prior and 10 to 3 weeks of packing down. Leaving the place better than we found it. Access roads widened, irrigation programs, shared benefit for the community, opportunities for local groups, nothing on the site's changed, economic contribution, set economic uplift for the town, hitting all of the sustainable development goals. Here's a quick view at the team, 42 members, and many important world partners we could not squeeze in there. Our ask of Shire is support the officer's recommendation of 9.3.1, approve Smash Albury 2026 to 2027 at the same scale, 2,900 on site. Support the main stage early access from 10th of December as the officer recommends. Deliver your council plan outcome 2, identity and belonging through cultural heritage and arts. Outcome 9, a thriving economy. Same event, better scale, better compliance. Thank you
That's
very much,
time.
people.
Well done. You're on time. 12 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Parsons. Are you happy to allow questions
Yes.
from councillors? Councillors, do you have any questions? Councillor
Grant.
Patrick?
Thank you. The question I asked last week we weren't able to answer. During the extended pack up, pack down period, you've briefly touched on there was a number of 6 to 12 or something around scaffolding, but that was just a particular.
Yeah.
What's the expectation of additional traffic in and out of the property, so people and traffic in that additional pack up and pack down? So not
For
the event itself?
the additional time,
Correct.
it'll be very minimal. So 6 to 12 shared cars, but has everyone read the documentation of the additional requests?
For the most part.
We're going to have on-site accommodations, showers, toilets, our own general waste, kitchen, self-sufficient. So of just a very small specialist crew, but the impact will be no different if I was running an orchard there, essentially. Same with the noise impacts and everything.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, councillors? Councillor Bailey?
Through the chair. Mr. Parsons, I was out there a couple of days ago. I see the fence is still down where that car went through it. Do you intend to fix that up shortly, the boundary fence?
I believe it has. I'm not too sure, really.
No, it hasn't.
Because there was an uninvited guest that came to my property. There was friends with a neighbour, and they've come to my property uninvited and left my property and drove into a fence.
No, the fence is still
I'm
down.
sorry, this is not relevant to the matter we're deciding.
Yeah. Thank you for your question.
Are there any other questions? Councillor Ringe?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Parsons, and I'll excuse my back to you. I've got a few questions here. First one is, at last year's event, I've seen pictures, of course, there was kids present. What are the age of the children that are required to be accompanied by an adult, and what precautions are in place, like after the swimming curfew, to avoid child drownings?
Yeah, that's actually one of our number one priorities, actually. Yeah. Because I believe the paper, it cuts off at, 6 p.m, but there's always a security guard stationed there. When it comes to kids, so much information to remember. I believe it's from ages of 2 to 14 are allowed to attend. They get a complimentary ticket to come with their parents. We do have measures in place. So it's in our terms and conditions, but if we deem a parent unsuitable to be caring for a child, we can essentially confiscate them and call the police and do what we need to do. But we haven't had any of those instances, and I don't believe WAs have had an incident like that. But it's actually our number one priority, because it's very important to keep it a family-friendly event. It just tends to calm the whole thing down, and we don't, it is a party, but we don't want it to be too wild, and that's why we make it so family-friendly.
Thank you.
Councillor Ringe?
Yes, I have another one. Impact to neighbours. I believe there's a duty of care to, minimise risks and make residents feel safe. What measures are in place to ensure patrons are respectful of private property and do not trespass without permission? I believe last year there was a few that got lost and ended up in other people's places.
You are correct. Yeah. Where there was an issue, there's different apps for using maps. Google Maps. Is it Wise? Not Wise. Waze, Apple Maps, And what occurred was, instead of people using the central GPS coordinate, because we only use Google, we didn't realise there's so many different applications. People were sending their coordinates within the camping ground with their friends, and it was leading them to the bushes and all these kinds of things. We're doing a giant advertising campaign this year about, don't do that. Don't share your coordinates in the campground. Don't share it in the festival. Go to the Smash Avo GPS coordinate. But we're going to make sure we cover Waze, Apple Maps and everything to make sure that never occurs again. But yeah, there was an issue.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And the other one I've got is the Class 4 lasers. From my experience, cattle and horses can be spooked easily and resulting in property damage and injuries to themselves. Can you please explain a little bit about these lasers and sort of how you go about minimising the effects with to livestock?
If it's okay, because I'm not a specialist with that, can I ask someone in my team about this? That's okay.
Yes.
Lachlan, do you want to?
Lachlan, would you like to come up to the microphone, please?
This is Lachlan. He's one of our stage specialists. He's been in the industry for about 7 years.
So solid laser blocks can be put in place, and we can aim the lasers directly at those so they do not pass any further point.
Thank you.
That's all.
Are there any other questions, councillors? Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Parsons.
Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate
your time.
Thank you. Mr. Contarino, did you, not yet, but I'm just going to say, would you like me to add you to the deputations list separately? Okay. You'll be on the end of the, end of the list. We now have a deputation from Mrs. Gill in relation to the same item, 9.3.1, the Smashed Avo Festival event application. Thank you, Mrs. Gill.
Is that loud enough?
And you have up to 12 minutes, so we make everything equal.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd just like to firstly start by thanking the council members that did attend the property this week and actually come out and have a look. Appreciate your time. As like every year, we do not support the festival application due to the fact that we do not want our property, stock and lifestyle put at risk and have us involved in any way. We have never given consent or approvals as per the council requirements. We did not approve nor get consulted for any of the works completed on the easement. Our request for the works to stop were also ignored and continued to take place, changing the way we can access and use our own land. My question is, why has this item continued not to be required or adhered to in the conditions set? And what would that look like, given I've stated in my deputisations emails to the council that we do not approve? The public liability piece, last year, after having the document reviewed by our lawyers, it was deemed not suffice. We provided feedback that it could not be in a company name and needs to be in an individual name. They also advised that conditions for use of the easement should also be included. No response to the requests were given, no changes to the document were made. Therefore, Brett and I did not sign the document. How did this condition therefore be considered met? Will it be required this year to be in an individual's name and not in a company name? And why does it not have to cover the setup and pack down timeframes? The application last year was approved for the 30th of December to the 2nd of January, yet there was tickets sold for early entry, meaning people are on site from the 29th of December. Why does this not need to be approved and included as part of this process, as it really means that the festival runs from the 29th to the 2nd, not what was presented or approved? The car crash that occurred on the easement from another event held in May was disturbing, as it highlights that this can occur.
Sorry, Mrs. Gill, is this relative to this event?
Absolutely, because it's the same road that gets travelled.
But is it related to this event?
It will be related to how any event would occur on that road, how it would be treated.
Just a moment. No, I won't allow that, Mrs. Gill. Yeah, if it wasn't related to the event, it doesn't relate to the event, I won't
So
allow that.
it does though, because it's the road that everybody will be using.
Mrs Gill,
to
I'm not
traverse.
allowing that. Okay.
So given that the easement is covered by private property, in the event of an incident or any damage, the police will not render assistance, the council ranger cannot render assistance, and there's still outstanding damage. I'll say, is the council aware that due to it being private property, this is the response we will get from police? We continue to see damage being done to our property, drains, fences, roads. Why is it then our responsibility and cost to repair these so we can protect our stock and property to an operating state? In previous years, costs for hay still outstanding. Is the council members given all previous years' information and complaints raised for each event? I ask the council to strongly review the suitability of the location, given the access and impact to us as a party that wants nothing to do with the event, given the previous experiences and lack of consideration or consultation, also support when it goes wrong. It is the wrong location for something of this size, and as for any applications for permanent structures, it will just make it easier for more non-approved events to be held at short notice. Given that the previous event organisers resigned prior to the event due to safety concerns, it confirms that checks are not thorough.
Excuse me, Mrs Gill. I just need to check a moment. I'm not sure that that information has been provided to through the approval process.
I'll say currently confirms that checks are not done thoroughly enough.
Thank you. Are you finished?
Yep.
Oh, lovely. Would you be happy to answer questions from council? Thank you. Councillors, do you have any questions? Councillor Bailey?
Through the chair. Ms Gill, you say the insurance, your lawyer felt that was insufficient.
Yes.
How do we get over that? How do we make sure that if there is insurance, then your people are satisfied with it?
So one of the major recommendations is that it's not to be in a company name. It needs to be in the individuals holding the land titles.
So not a $2 company situation.
Correct.
It's got to be with body.
Because there's the ability for the company to close down and leave us still in the lurch as such,
Thank you.
whereas an individual's accountable.
Thanks.
Any other questions, councillor? Councillor Ringe?
Yes, thanks for the deputation. I've got just one question. At the beginning, obviously you've had 3 events here or at the premises. At the beginning, you said that I did hear in last year's council meeting that you were originally not opposed to the event when you were first approached. And my question is, at what point did you have a concern, and what was that first initial concern regarding?
So obviously once the event had gone ahead and we saw firsthand how it was being managed, how the traffic management did work, how people were getting lost, and then the pure size, quantity, dust, impacts that came with, I don't think we fully appreciated what 3,000 cars looked like and what that does in the middle of summer. So once we actually got a taste of that firsthand, it definitely wasn't what we thought it was going to be. And this is where we've always said it needs to be a location that has its own access. Shouldn't be involving another property to be able to do this in the first place.
Thank you. Any other questions, councillors? Councillor Hall?
Thank you. Through the chair. Have you had a chance to read the agenda papers for tonight's meeting with all the conditions proposed by the Shire on this event? And what are your thoughts on those, if you have?
If I could speak freely, I think that a lot of it can't be enforced or isn't actively watched correctly over the duration of the event. So that's what else we see, is that everybody sort of signs off, the event goes ahead, but then everybody else is on holidays. There's not a great deal of support during that time. Nothing's open. So we find that when there is an issue, there's nobody to contact, and there probably needs to be more thorough checks during the event to ensure that things are being adhered to. Looks good on paper, but it's not how it plays out.
Councillor Lindemann.
To the chair, thank you. You had a complaint. Would you not contact the police if there was a problem?
Oh, absolutely, we do, but we're told it's private property, so it's not a police matter. Yeah.
Councillor Patrick.
Thank you. Look, just following up on that, and I could be wrong, my recollection was that for last year's event there was a number provided for complaints for participants and everything. Is that your recollection, or are you aware of a number that was provided for?
On
complaints?
both events, I think that there was people within the festival to contact, and yeah, but if it was for council-related things not being adhered to,
Okay,
and we had raised dust and other issues.
okay. All right, thank you.
Any other councillor questions? Right, Mrs. Gill, thank you very much. Thank you. We next have Mr. Daniel Law in relation to the same item, 9.3.1. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Danielle, I beg your pardon.
I'm a bit shorter. Hello, councillors. My name is Danielle. I'm here to basically raise some concerns. I'm a tenant with my husband and my 2 kids at Lot 1 Newlands Road East, and I've also been a caretaker for Brett and Jess at their property for the past 16 years, and watched firsthand the impact that this festival is having from the farming side of the whole thing, really. Sorry, I'm a little bit blown away by what's happening here. Last year, the easement was ripped up by machinery, fences added, gates taken out, which affected the movement of the cattle. I would like to add to this that the works completed were not approved by the owners, and it was a condition by the Shire that any works completed needed to be approved. My question to the councillors, to the council, who checks that these conditions are met? Is that something that can be answered now? And further to this, who can we call when these conditions are not met?
This is a deputation, I'm sorry.
That's cool, I'll leave you with that. It seems that conditions put on the approval of this event put on the approval of the event have no regard from the adjoining property, or have no regard to the adjoining property or to these conditions. This leads me to the next point of biosecurity. With the amount of dirt that was brought into the property to make the unapproved changes to the easement, came weeds that were never there in the first place, affecting the ability to make hay for the cattle and affecting the grazing pastures. With the amount of traffic coming in and out of the property, I would like the council to consider other biosecurity risks such as disease that could enter the property, and this is a real risk. My next point is noise. As a mum of 2 children and being a shift worker who lives at the property, I would like to know who is responsible to give a noise report or review. And again, who can we call when the noise levels are exceeded? When the Shire is on holidays during this time, I was not aware of any number to call. An after hours number is not adequate, and is there a condition around hours of noise? I would also like to add, after attending last week's meeting, that the Shire has stated their concerns are around safety. I cannot see how this could be deemed as safe when conditions have clearly not been met in the past. This is a concern for my family. Last year we had multiple cars enter Lot 1 Newlands Road East due to being lost. I would like to ask the councillors how that can be rectified, and again, who polices this, and I do not feel that an app is adequate. There was people on a gate for some stage of the festival. I myself went up there and could have entered the festival at any time. There was no security on the gate. So I would like to know how this is going to be rectified. That's all from me, and I am happy to take questions.
Yeah, thank you. Councillors, do you have any questions of Mrs. Law? Councillor Patrick?
Thank you. It's a bit of a sort of generic question, I guess, but okay, in relation to people getting lost and accessing incorrect properties,
Yeah.
you obviously heard Mr. Parsons talking about acknowledging that that's occurred and the strategies they're putting in place, but you believe that's not suitable or appropriate. What would you like to see in that regard, in relation to that one specific thing? What would you like to see, or do you believe would be a suitable thing that would satisfy you in that regard?
I believe that security for the whole event to be present.
At everyone's driveways around the area.
I believe it needs to be at the driveway entering into the festival, and even our driveway where we were, we had multiple cars come in full of people at all hours of the night. So it's pretty confronting when you have people coming into your driveway going, oh, we're lost, where's the festival? It's
Sorry, so just to follow up on that, do you believe signage would assist to some degree in that if there was relevant, appropriate signage?
there is signage there.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely not adequate.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, councillors? Councillor Hall?
Just a quick one through the chair. Danielle, whereabouts is the property that you reside in relation to, I was out there today, just in relation to
Yep.
the entry from to the property area?
So where
Where's
you would
yours?
have come into the property, Brett and Jess's house on the left, we have the house 100 metres, not even 50 metres to the right. Very close.
Councillors, any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well done. The next deputation we have is from Mrs. Axelby in relation to the same item, 9.3.1, Smashed Avo Festival. Now your 10 minutes has been extended to 12 minutes by virtue of equality.
Hi, I'm Anne Axelby, and I live at 19837 Southwest Highway, Newlands, which is pretty much straight in line to where the festival is. Okay, I also am vice president of the Newlands Social Club, which we are into restoring the old Newlands Hall, which is a very social hub of Newlands. Okay, so I've got a letter here first to read from the Social Club in support of the Smash Avo Festival. We are writing to offer our strong support for the upcoming Smash Avo Festival being held in Newlands. This event brings great energy, visitors, economic and financial gain to our local area. The event showcases talented artists from around the world and brings people together. It is a unique cultural event that puts Newlands and Donnybrook on the map. The team organising this event have a clear and safe plan available upon request. Management of the Smashed Avo Festival have engaged in the Newlands Social Club to become more involved in the event, which will allow us to fundraise monies for our hall restorations. It is a great opportunity to create community spirit while helping to upgrade our community space. We urge the council to approve the permits and support this fantastic event for our community to benefit from. That's the letter. And now this is my support. The Newlands Social Club, with a membership of 63 members, are all in support of the Smash Avocado Festival. The majority of our members live close by. They're all residents of Newlands. Last year's festival was very professionally run. There was a few little hiccups which can be, talked about and resurrected. it was very professionally run, and our social club played an important part of the meet and greet at the entrance gates. There was, security at the front gate. When the cars come in, we slowed them down, told them the rules, kept them at 10 kilometres an hour. Besides, we also had the water truck coming every couple of hours to wet the roads down to keep the dust, because the dust was a problem the year prior, which I think Arthur learnt about, and he did a good job in doing that. There was a speed limit of 10 kilometres an hour for safety and respect for the neighbours, so the dust doesn't get too much, plus water tanks. I said that. The festival brings lots of money into the town businesses and also puts Newlands on the map. The Smash Avocado Festival, Arthur, donated $5,000 towards the restoration of the Newlands Hall, which was a very generous amount for our little club, and it's going to go towards a lot of the stuff in the hall. And so I personally would love to see the Smash Avo Festival go ahead, because it's a fantastic, professionally run event which is suitable for families. All the kids from the members of the club, they all go, they all just absolutely love it. Lots of family members, it's a really good thing. It puts Newlands on the map. So thank you.
Are you happy to answer questions?
Yeah, I
Mrs.
certainly
Sexton?
am.
Councillors, do you have any questions? Councillor Bailey?
Through the chair. Sorry, Anne, I've forgotten your second name.
Pardon?
So I said, sorry, Anne, I've forgotten your second
Axelby.
name.
Mrs. Axelby.
Okay,
Axelby.
I forgot it again.
No,
You said you were working on security on the front gate. What?
no, not security, as agree to meet.
All right, okay. What time did that finish?
Well, we all did different shifts, so yeah.
So the time it
I
finished
think I was there from about 12 o'clock midday to probably about 8 o'clock at night.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Any other questions, councillors? Well, thank you, Mrs. Axelby.
Any more questions? No? Thank you.
And then finally we have Mr. Contarino in relation to the same item, 9.3.1, the Smashed Avo Festival event application.
Evening everyone, I'm Mario Contarino, I'm the manager owner of Southwest Fire Mitigation. Now, I've been doing this for a few years now, and I do a lot of work for shires and DFES, and our job is to make sure that if there's a fire, it starts at low rate. It doesn't start at a high rate, or else if it comes into the property, it slows down. We're not there to stop it, but we're there to slow it down. Right, so this year, we actually seen a few problems last year with people camping on the side of bush cells where they shouldn't have been, they got told to move, but sometimes it's hard work. So this year, what we're planning on doing is the fire breaks are going to be 5 metres wide, just to be sure. Right, that's going to be around the whole property. Those bush cells are going to be graded all the way around. So it's used as a track and a fire break. Third of all, we've got logs to come out of there and go around the boundary of those bush cells so people don't park too close to the bush, because that was one of the problems last year. And they're going to be 3 to 4 metres away from the bush. Every internal road that we're going to grade in there this year will be acting as a road and a fire break. And at the moment, there's a heap of sheep in there, so the grass is very minimal. Arthur and his mob did a great job in burning those bush cells in there. There's quite a few trees that have fallen over that have caught up on other trees. our job is to pull them all down for safety reasons. Just in case people go in the bush and gets a bit windy and some of those trees do fall down, they're going to be already on the ground. So that's part of my job out there. Look, I don't get paid a hell of a lot of money to do it. I'm just doing it for the town. We do put safety barriers, safety things there for a reason. But if people decide to pull them down and kick signs away, it's not Smashed Avocado's fault. It's just not. We just can't be everywhere. Like, we actually built the road. Well, some people think that we didn't do a very good job last year. Well, and I believe that we did do a good job with the conditions that we were put under. We put steel pickets with witches' hats around the drain, around an area that sort of had a bit of a fall off, where this car went off. Well, they're not there today. They're not there. Someone's decided to pull them away. So how can that be Smashed Avocado's problem? As I was out there having a meeting the other night, there was
sorry, Mr. Contarino. Mmr. Contarino, it can only be.
I'm getting off track.
Yeah, it has to be relevant to the matter before council.
But I'm talking about a safety thing.
But it's not the.
Yes, all right. So that's what my job is, just to make sure that there's no fires. And if there is a fire, it starts off minimal. Or if there's a fire that comes outside into the premises, that it slows down. And what we are going to put in place, that's the best to our ability that we can do out there, especially for the middle of summer. Has anyone got any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Contarino. Councillors, any questions?
Yep.
Councillor Bailey?
Through the chair, Mario, I've seen photos and I believe you can take care of the fire on the property. The stage and the people, how far, metre-wise, are they from State Forest?
The stage and the people where they're camping, well, the stage is probably 400 or 500 metres away from the State Forest. Where people are camping, they don't go up to the State Forest, but they're probably 100 metres away. So we do have to have a buffer through there.
Yeah, and that type of year with radiant heat is a big problem, isn't it?
Well, it is a problem if someone, I guess, but at the show, there is no naked flames and all the gas bottles that people have got in their campers are taken away. It doesn't stop people with a cigarette, I guess. But with the sheep that are on there at the moment, there's no chance any grass is going to grow because it's overstocked. But yes, we are close. There's a certain area that there is a bit close to the State Forest, yes.
Any other questions, councillors? Councillor Purick?
Yeah, just on that last comment about no grass growing, wasn't the area seeded with kikuyu so it was to be turfed?
It was seeded, but they didn't actually come out have a lot. We had a few water issues, but there is grass there. But because of sheep in there, it's very low. Very low at the moment.
Thank you. Councillor Patrick?
Thank you. In relation to the fire mitigation, fire risk and that side of things, obviously you've said that potentially, previous years some campers have set up in areas they shouldn't be. Is there any sort of scheduled patrol or review of the entirety of that sort of back end of the property during the event to ensure that people aren't going to areas they need to?
Yes, there is, and they as soon as we worked out what was going on, they were actually told to move. Yes, there is patrols on there, and as soon as they got seen, they had to move. But you got to remember, last year those bush cells were not burnt. This year they are burnt, and they've done a great job, and there's minimal fire risk in there, but we have to keep them away from there anyway.
Thank you. Councillors, any more questions? Councillor Ringe?
Yeah, thank you for the deputation. Mario, just a quick question. Have there been any discussions, obviously, with Mr Parsons in regards to like a muster point in case there is a potential something ignite or some sort of emergency on the property?
No, look, to be honest, I don't get involved in that. Mine is, but look, there probably is, but it'd probably be on the other side where the cattle yards are, because that would be the safest point on the other side of the dam. There's a big area in there with hardly no trees around it. But if there's a muster point, the people that are coming have to be told that they can't go and get their cars.
Mr Contarino, if that's a speculation, I'd rather not have it than if it's fact. Thank you. I'd rather not allow that.
Really be honest with you, I don't get involved in that bit.
Thank you. Any other questions, councillors? Thank you, Mr Contarino. Thank you, everyone, for your deputations, which were very well done. That'll take us through to item 6.4, delegate reports, for which we have none, and on to adoption by exception. Councillors, I'd like to move that we adopt the following items en bloc and resolve in accordance with each of the executive recommendations. These are items 7.1.1, Ordinary Council meeting held on the 22nd of July 2026 minutes. 9.1.2, Wi-Fi enabled payphones for the town sites of Balingup and Kirrip. Item 9.2.1, Schedule of accounts paid as at the 31st of July 2026. 9.3.2, Minninup Cottages and Langley Villas future management options. 9.3.3, Preston Retirement Village, expressions of interest for suitable housing provider. And 9.3.4, Walga Local Government Convention and Annual General Meeting 2026. Would someone like to second that? Councillor McNabb. Would anyone like to speak for or against that motion, the en bloc? All in favour? It's carried. Okay. It takes us to item 8, reports of committees, and there are none this month. Item 9, reports of officers, and 9.1, Director of Operations. The first report is 9.1.1, MRWA, Draft Speed Zoning Policy and Application Guidelines. Would councillors like to move the executive recommendation? Councillor Purick, and a seconder? Councillor Ringe. Councillor Purick, would you like to speak to the recommendation?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I'll keep this brief. I really just wanted to highlight that this is a good example of the behind-the-scenes work that the administration does that isn't always visible to the community. So I sit on the Southwest Regional Roads Group, and I've been fully supported by the administration, particularly Roscoe and Damien. At the most recent meeting, I successfully moved a motion basically to ensure further and meaningful consultation between main roads and local governments. So this is our opportunity to help shape the main road speeding zoning policy, giving greater agency when managing speed zones within our gazetted town sites, and more weight given to that local government recommendations on local government managed roads. So yeah, just wanted to highlight the good work done by the administration, and thank you for the support.
Thank you, Councillor Purick. Councillor Ringe, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you. Through the chair, I also confer with my fellow councillor here. Speed zoning is one of the main complaints I get, especially through QRUP. So I welcome the response and the comprehensive look through the policy and what changes that we could do. And I just wanted to thank everyone that was involved with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ringe. Would anyone like to speak against the motion? For? Councillor Purick, right of reply.
No, thank you.
Council will put that to vote. All those in favour? And that's carried. Item 9.1.2 is on block, taking us through to 9.2.1, which is also on block, and 9.2.2, Draft Economic Development and Tourism Strategy, endorsement for public comment. Would councillors like to move the recommendation? Councillor Patrick. And a seconder? Councillor Hall. Councillor Patrick, would you like to speak to the recommendation?
Look, I don't really have much to say on it. I think ultimately this is about something that's going out. We're just supporting it to go to the community, for the community to provide comment. And I think that, it's an important thing to do. So all in all, no, I don't have anything more.
Thank you, Councillor Patrick. Councillor Hall?
Thank you, Madam President. I do support this recommendation. I just had a few words to say just to explain some of the meetings and workshops that we've gone through to get to this point, so just for the benefit of anyone listening in. So I think it's worth acknowledging the work undertaken here. There's clearly been a considerable amount of work done by the engaged consultant, Lucid Economics, the administration and the businesses, tourism operators and the community organisations across the Shire. That consistent engagement, supported by economic and demographic research, has produced a really good starting point for this document for considering the economic and tourism direction of the Shire over the next decade or so. There is much in the executive summary that I think does capture our Shire particularly well. It recognises us as a distinct regional economy underpinned by our agriculture, supported by a growing tourism sector that benefits from a highly attractive rural lifestyle. Importantly, it says that our opportunity is not to fundamentally change our direction, but to build on our existing strengths. I think that's an important principle to retain throughout this whole process. So just to reiterate, it is a work in progress. This feedback by the community now is their opportunity to say and contribute to what is in here. This is not an endorsement of any actions or statements within this draft document. So just have a read of it, get your thoughts, and please provide your feedback to add your value into the future of our area. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Would anyone else like to speak to the recommendation? For or against? Okay, right of reply, Councillor Patrick? No? Councillors will put that to vote. All those in favour? That's carried. So moving now on to item 9.3, which is reports from the Chief Executive Officer. 9.3.1 is the Smashed Avo Festival 2026 event application. Would councillors like to move the recommendation with conditions? Councillor Patrick. And seconder, Councillor Lindeman. Councillor Patrick, would you like to speak to the recommendation?
Thank you. Look, I don't have a lot to say because there's a lot been said. This event is now, as Mr. Parsons outlined, it's been a number of years in the making, and I believe we've seen improvement over those years. I think a lot of feedback's been taken into account and a lot of different things put in place, both from the Shire Administration's recommendations as well as the applicant for the event. What we are looking at is an event application. We're not looking at dispute between neighbours. We're not looking at other legal proceedings. We're not looking at applications for development. Understand some or all of those things may be present separate to this, but from my perspective, we're looking at an application for an event which is greatly supported by a large portion of the community, acknowledging those concerns from the neighbours and other surrounding members that may have concerns. I think all in all, it's been demonstrated, especially for the last couple of years, that there's a lot of strategies in place to ensure this is a safe, community-oriented event, and it only seems to be improving in those standards. So I believe that we should be supporting this event application. Now, again, reiterating that this is an event application. We are aiming to support the recommendations put in. All of those things have to be met, and if there's other things outside of the council decision that impact that event, that's on Mr Parsons and any other parties involved. So, there is always that risk for the applicant that other things may come into play that prevent the event, but that's not what we're here as a council are here to look at. So I recommend that the event's supported to have another good event, as has occurred for a number of years in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Patrick. Councillor Lindeman.
Yeah, sure. Look, I support the Smash Avo Festival as well, as it directly relates to our council plan and feedback from our 2025 market scorecard, in which community wanted more local events and activities, a thriving economy and a diverse, inclusive and supported community. We have also endorsed our draft economic development and tourism strategy to be released for public comment. In that proposed plan, it mentions the importance of attracting expenditure into the Shire, supporting local business and strengthening the region's identity. It points to limited depth in tourism and suggests building and diversifying tourism products. The role of the Shire is not to directly deliver these outcomes, but to enable them, creating the conditions for private sector investment. I like that the festival organisers have taken feedback from last year and also self-assessed ways to improve the event, its safety, reducing risk and enhancing the experience for patrons whilst considering the overall impact on the community. In a world of division, disconnection, disruption and uncertainty, bringing people together through the arts and a shared love of music is exactly the antidote we all need, particularly our young people. Joy, connection, a sense of belonging, acceptance, creativity and freedom through dance with new friends gives us all a little hope. As I have said every year that this has come to us, everyone loves music, it's just a matter of taste.
Thank you, Councillor Lindeman. Would anyone like to speak against the item? I can't see any hands, councillors. Would anyone like to speak for the item?
Sorry, I just wanted to put an amendment, propose an amendment to this executive recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor
Please.
Ringe. Is this an additional condition or an amended condition?
This is amended condition under the...
Councillor Ringe might just want to outline what the amendment is, because
Yes.
there are quite a few conditions. So.
Okay. Do you want to talk to your amendment?
Yes.
Hang on, do you just want to outline what the actual amendment is? Because
Sorry.
as part of, there's a recommendation, a whole heap of conditions, so it may not be clear which bit you're looking at.
Okay, thank you, yep. So it's basically just one amendment to noise. There's a number of conditions, so it's an amendment to a condition under noise, and it's the second point, and it refers to monitoring noise levels or sound levels. And the additional one I wanted to put in is to make sure that people that are monitoring it don't go on private property without their consent. And the other point was to do the monitoring to include peak times, so not necessarily the quiet times when there's no music, but to make sure that peak times are included in that monitoring.
Thank you, Councillor Ringe. Would someone like to second Councillor Ringe's amendment? Councillor Councillor Bailey? Okay, Councillor Ringe, would you like to speak to your amended recommendation?
Yeah, thank you for that. Look, just picking up a few points of what people have said, some of the concerns and things like that. I just felt it was necessary that, firstly, people have permission to go on private property and people respect that. And the second one was to ensure that the monitoring is done when the music is at its peak or during those times when it's at its peak to get a true reading.
Thank you. Councillor Bailey?
No, nothing to say, thank you.
Okay. Would someone like to speak against the amended recommendation? Yes?
Sorry, thank you. Yeah, just a question about it. Look, I 100% support in relation to access to private property. It's just some clarity on the third point. So the modelling itself, it's a prediction modelling. It's not a modelling during the actual event. That's correct? Is that my understanding?
Just a moment, Councillor Patrick.
Notification to the residents. No, but so what you're saying is the modelling at peak times. The part of the amendment you're saying is in relation to making sure the modelling is done during peak time.
Not the modelling, the monitoring.
Monitoring, okay.
Monitoring. Sorry.
The second
So where's
point.
the monitoring sitting in that?
In this first line?
A noise management plan committing,
to the monitoring. Okay, sorry,
So-
gotcha. All right, no worries. Committing to the monitoring of. Okay, yep, no, that's fine. Thank you. Sorry, just.
Thank you. So would anyone like to speak against the amended recommendation? Anyone like to speak for against?
No, through the chair, I'd like to add another amendment to this.
We
we're
can
going to
only
vote
have
on
one
this
at a
one
time.
first. Sorry.
Yeah. We'll see how this one goes and then. Anyone like to speak for or against the amended?
May I ask a question, please?
Yes?
Thank you, through Chair. Just to, Officer of Operations, please.
Director of
Sorry, you're
Operations.
yes, well, I was going to say that, but professional. The event including peak times, the hours are set out for when the music will be playing. So is that what is considered peak times?
Thank
Otherwise,
you,
there'd be
Councillor
no
Lindeman.
music.
Through the chair, I'm not sure I can answer that because we've set time periods, recommended time periods. I would assume it's more likely, when the noise is at its peak, to sort of try and help out. There should be continual monitoring, so it's not at a high or a low peak. It should be continuous. Hope that helps.
So I guess
Councillor
a
Lindeman?
follow-up question, please. Then would it be necessary to include peak times if we don't actually know what the peak times are? They're just should it just be whilst the music is playing continuously for the duration of the event? How's it? Yeah. Would that be, and I can put that back through to the councillor that's proposing
Your
the amendment
question?
to ask. Well, the question is the peak times aren't clear. I don't know what you mean by peak times. If the
Okay.
music's playing all
So
the
your
time,
question
the
is,
music's
what
playing.
are peak times?
Yeah, and the officer
that's
was
all?
not really. I didn't feel I got my
We
answer.
can stop it there. Director of Operations?
Madam President, maybe you could oblige me with repeating the question.
What is,
Just so I'm really clear on what the question is.
What is a peak time?
To be fair, Madam President, I don't actually have a definition of a peak time, but just to help out, I think what we're trying to do is make sure that there's monitoring when it's quiet and also when it's loud, for want of a better word. So, happy to take that one on notice, and we can work through that in the details of the noise management, just to make sure that there is a good cross-section of monitoring. Is that okay?
Thank you. That satisfies and answers my question.
Okay, so would anyone like to speak for or against the amended recommendation? Councillor Lindemann.
With that clarification, I am happy to speak for the amendment. Thank you.
Any other councillors like to speak for or against the recommendation, the amended recommendation? Right of reply, Councillor Ringe?
No, I think I've said enough, thanks.
Thank you. Councillors will put the amended recommendation to vote. Those in favour? Thank you. It's carried. So the amended becomes the substantive motion. And we have had Councillor Patrick speak. We've had Councillor Lindemann second and speak. Would anyone like to speak against the substantive motion? Councillor Purick?
Thank you, Madam President. Look, I acknowledge the benefit to the Shire that this event provides, and I applaud the entrepreneurial spirit of Mr Parsons. But ultimately, I see the impact on the neighbouring property through the easement being too great, impacting how that person uses their property. I cannot, in good faith, vote in favour of this. So, yeah, I do acknowledge the benefit of it and applaud the applicant for putting it through, but just that negative impact, I cannot vote for this one.
Thank you, Councillor Purick. Would anyone else like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Bailey?
Through the chair, I'd like to move an amendment, please.
Okay.
Okay, the amendment is council defers consideration of this item until the September ordinary council meeting.
I think that's an alternate motion, Councillor Bailey.
No, it's an amendment.
No, an amendment is a small change to
Well,
an existing...
This is a small change.
Councillor Bailey, let me speak. An amendment is an alteration that doesn't change the outcome of the recommendation. If you're asking to defer, that's an alternate motion.
So how do I get that in?
Sorry?
So how do we get that up?
If the substantive motion fails,
Oh.
then you can put forward an alternative motion.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You can foreshadow it, yeah. So if you'd like to foreshadow an alternative motion now, you can read that out, and councillors will be aware that that's there in case...
All right, thank you. I foreshadow an alternative motion. The motion will be that council defers consideration of this item until the September ordinary council meeting. Now, from the discussions tonight, it doesn't seem like we're that far apart.
I just need to get a check on something. I'm sure you'll be fine. Is it okay to talk to this now? Okay. So you can foreshadow, but we can't debate.
Okay, so you've got that part of it. Councillor, given that we are aware of pending legal action relating to this
Councillor Bailey, you can foreshadow the alternative motion, but you can't debate it. Just have it up there, ready for councillors to use if they need. Thank you, Councillor Bailey. Sorry about that. Okay, would anyone else like to speak for or against the substantive motion? Councillor Hall?
I'd like to propose an amendment.
Okay.
It hasn't been submitted yet. It's based on the deputations.
Okay, and what is your amendment? Wait one moment. Okay, so council is just going to capture Councillor Bailey's alternate motion.
We do have it in writing, but I just want to grab the relevant parts.
Yes.
Sorry, can we just
Thank you, CEO.
Councillor Bailey, could I just get you to clarify that that's the simplicity of your motion, realising that you did provide some information today, but that's probably a matter for debate? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, councillors. Now, Councillor Hall would like to move an amendment.
I would, thank you. Sorry, this is no notice based on the deputations. It's a new item, it's minimal, right down the bottom of the conditions. I think EE is the final one at the moment.
Okay.
So it might be EF if we're following.
You think it'll be a separate item?
We just wait for the Minister of Words to return to
No worries, I can hold fire.
KO.
Okay. And I think, Sam, we're bringing up...
We're just going to reset technology.
Further down, sorry.
All right, so this is an additional...
That's here.
An additional condition?
It's
Is
an
that what I'm
additional
understanding?
condition, just a minor, yes. I think it's HH will be the...
So maybe just go back to the amendment as it stands. Or which is now
Substantive motion.
Which is now the substantive
Yeah.
motion.
Yes.
And just scroll down to the bottom of that, please, Sam. There we go.
It's above the noise.
above.
Sorry. Yeah. So this would become HH, I'm guessing, and that would move
Okay.
down or wherever it, I don't know, where it belongs. Where does it belong?
Okay, let's get the words maybe.
Possibly under KK, then LL would be the reference. I don't know.
We've got
You've got
HH.
the
You got it there for now? Okay. It would be event organiser to add 4th security station to entry gate of joint access equivalent. You understand where I'm? Yeah. Because I think there's one at the camp and
Did you want to discuss the appropriate wording with E CEO?
if CEO can understand what I'm saying, if
So
that
you're
makes
saying that
sense.
there's a fourth, there's a security station set up out the front of the actual...
Correct. There's
easement area
3
for
now
access.
in the event itself. This is the 4th one to protect neighbours from accidental ingress to their properties and areas.
Right. Is there a seconder for that motion, that amendment? Councillor Bailey? Councillor Hall, would you like to speak to your amended recommendation?
Yes, thank you. As I highlighted, this is just I think a minor introduction to already a lengthy conditions list on the applicant. It's just an expansion of a already provided service that they have within the structure of this event. I believe this will help to protect neighbouring properties who have expressed past incidents from those repeating, noting that there is children on site. One of the applicants has a husband that works away, FIFO, so he might not be there. So just for their peace of mind, I think a 4th security station would be a benefit to them.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hall. Councillor Bailey, would you like to speak to that amended motion? Okay. Would anyone like to speak against the amended motion? Councillor Patrick, would you like a question?
Thank you. I guess my question is around the expectation of that. Is the expectation to be for what duration? Like the entirety of the event, including bump in, bump, like what's the parameters around that? And yeah, thanks.
Councillor Hall, would you like to answer that question?
Can I use peak times?
Only when it's noisy.
Possibly
Would you
until
like
the end of the music periods, possibly would be a good one. Until the end of the...
Would you like Director of Operations to provide some input?
Yes, please. I'd appreciate some input there. Would be great.
Yeah, so I might just get, through you, Chair, Mr Marshall, provide a bit of an overview because we believe that maybe security may already be located there, but defer to Mr Marshall.
So looking at the security or the site management plan, that security actually is located And just to help with the, when you turn off the Southwest Highway, you go over the little gravel track, over the railway line, you turn left to head pretty much into the event. Right on that corner is actually a security post there already. Yeah, so so that is existing, and I think it could show that. It probably doesn't go as far as that location. So I can confirm from an operational point of view that there is security posted at that location.
Sorry, no comments from the public, please. I had a question. Is that there for the duration of the concert?
Madam President, through the Chair, look, it certainly is documented that way, and from my experience when I went out there last year, I did see security there on day 2. So if it's
So
not, we
is
can
the
actually deal with that at an operational level, if you like.
Yes, I'd like to. In the conditions, is security? How is security described? Can you refresh my memory?
To our satisfaction. So we receive the plan, and we can actually make sure that that's included in the operational plan.
Okay. Thank you. Councillor Hall?
Thank you for that clarification. I think just for transparency's sake, I'd still like to keep it there, possibly as is, just to make a point that security will be present at that location for the duration.
Would you like to take out the word "for" and replace it, event organiser
Yes,
to
that's
ensure?
fine. Yes,
ensure.
that makes sense. Thank you.
Security station to
Ensure.
ensure. To add, take out "add" and put in "ensure." Security station
That's fine. And just so I'm clear, is it for the duration of the event? Is that your intention, Councillor?
I think from the official open until the close each night would make sense. Yep.
Yeah, okay, all right, yep, that's fine.
All right, you happy with that? Okay, could we have a seconder for Councillor Hall's amended motion?
Well, just so it's probably...
Oh, sorry, we've got the seconder.
Procedurally, probably, as it's changed and had been seconded, it might just be
Yes.
with Councillor Bailey's consent, he could agree to that minor change, given that
Thank
new
you,
information
CEO.
has been brought in.
Yes,
Yep.
thank you. Do you agree, Councillor Bailey? Yes, okay. Right. Have you spoken to your motion yet? You have.
Yep.
And Councillor Bailey, you said you were fine. Would anyone like to speak for or against the amended recommendation? Councillors, right of reply. Councillor Hall. Councillors will put that amended motion to vote.
The amendment? Yep.
Yes, all in favour? Okay. Thank you, councillors. That's carried. Councillor Bailey, do you have a question? I'll just finish the discussion here and then I'll come to you. So that takes us back to the amended motion being the substantive motion.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. And so Councillor Purick, Councillor Ringe, Councillor Patrick and Councillor Hall have all spoken. Councillor Bailey?
Thank you. Now, the amendment is on insurance and something along the lines of 45 days prior to the start of the festival, proponent will offer close neighbours an industrial standard level of insurance before the start of the festival for the neighbours' acceptance.
Industrial level.
Have we got that in words?
I'm not sure what an industrial, is that Apologies, excuse my ignorance. I just want to make sure it's
CEO,
it's
can you
illegally
please make
legally
sure it's a
enforceable.
lawful? Yeah.
Yeah, so you just industrial level, is that your
Well,
terminology? Councillor?
it doesn't have to be industrial, but it's got to be, sorry, I should have used the word
Commercial?
commercial. Yeah, not industrial. Thank you.
So just if I could, did you want to try and grab that, Ness? 45 days prior to the... And sorry, through you, Chair, is it insurance or is it indemnity? Is it insurance?
Which is going to be better for the neighbours' indemnity, I suppose.
Well, I believe the existing condition talks about, there's two elements of insurance from what I understand. Recollection is the 50 million public liability, and I understand there's also a requirement for indemnity to the neighbours. Is that the recollection? Yeah. So would you like to use the terminology indemnity insurance?
Well, indemnity, but I'd like to see the insurance in the property owner's name, not just covered up in that $50 million policy.
Okay. Yeah. Direct neighbours? Is that adjoining? Just want to have a look at the wording. Is it adjoining property owner? Is that what you're looking at establishing,
that's what it's like.
Councillor? Adjoining property owners. You comfortable with that? That represents your intention, Councillor?
Okay. Would anyone like to second, councillors like to second Councillor Bailey's amendment? Question from Councillor Hall?
Thank you. Through the chair, how does this different from the 2 points already in the recommendation?
I think let's just see if anyone would like to second that, and then we'll allow Councillor Bailey to speak to the would you like to ask the question or of the CEO? Okay.
I need to pull up the existing condition.
I've got them here if you want them.
Is it H? Applicant provide evidence of suitable public liability indemnifying the relevant landowners whose land is being used for access to the event addition. So in essence, Councillor Bailey, you're looking to amend condition H, and you're looking at, instead of it being 14 days, to be 45 days. Yep.
Correct. Yep.
And you're suggesting that there's a type of insurance that is commercial, and you're wanting to include that wording into that condition H.
That's correct. And Ms. Quill, when she spoke, she said her legal advice advised them that it had to be in a private name, not a company name. So that needs to go in there.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I guess the applicant is a company.
So, yeah. Because the applicant is a company,
Well, what I'm trying to do is get to a stage where any doubt about insurance can be overcome quite easily rather than get bogged down. It didn't happen last year, so I just want to try and make sure that everybody's protected, including the Shire.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. To answer your question, I don't know, President. So. Okay, yeah, and then I think we just need to insert the word commercial indemnity. Period assurance Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just don't, I mean, I can't give you any informed advice as to whether you can or can't require it to be put in someone's name.
I'm sorry, Councillor Bailey, but I don't think this amendment is going to be able, I don't think we know whether the amendment is able to be implemented.
Well, sorry, the requirement that Councillor Bailey is suggesting that the insurance needs to be taken out by an individual as opposed to the company, given the fact that the applicant is Lumiere Part, which is a company. I believe the other two elements of Councillor Bailey's proposed amendment are lawful and enforceable, but I just don't have the information on me, so, Councillor.
Well, I appreciate the effort. It's a major sticking point for the private landowners around there.
We can debate that when it's up.
No.
But
What
first
I'm
of all, we
saying
have
is
to.
we change it to, including a commercial indemnity. Then we've got it.
You put that out.
CEO has a suggestion for
So
you.
the other way to deal with it, Councillor, is you put words to the effect of as far as legally enforceable, that we require the applicant to take out insurance as described in your proposed amendment in the name of a person, if that's your intent.
That's great. Thank you. Appreciate the effort.
Now, if you can just hold a second, Councillor Patrick. We have Councillor Bailey's amendment before us. Is there a councillor that would like to second that amendment? Sorry, Councillor Bailey, that has failed. CEO, it's not seconded.
Thank you through the chair. It's been recorded and that's what I wanted to get it up there for. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bailey. So we're back into the substantive motion, and that was moved by Councillor Purick, just to do a refresh, seconded by Councillor Ringe. Councillor Patrick has spoken to the motion, Councillor Hall has spoken to the motion, and Councillor Purick has spoken to the motion. Would anyone else like to speak before or against the motion?
Didn't move. Yeah, I didn't move the motion.
No, you spoke to the motion.
Yes, but you said I moved it.
Patrick and
Did I
Linda.
use the word move?
No, I didn't move the motion.
No, sorry. I meant you had spoken to the motion. Okay. So would anyone else like to speak for or against the substantive motion?
Can I just clarify something? I don't think I seconded the substantive motion.
No, it was Councillor.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Hall. Councillor Grant Patrick moved. Sorry. That was what I thought. Councillor Patrick moved. Councillor Hall seconded.
No, I think it was Councillor Lindemann.
I second the motion.
So Councillor.
I've got my spot. Okay, Councillor Patrick has moved the motion. Councillor Lindemann had seconded the motion. Councillor Purick has spoken to the motion. Correct. And Councillor Bailey, you wanted to move an amendment which has failed. Did you want to speak to the motion? No? Would anyone else like to speak for or against the substantive motion? Councillor Bailey?
Yeah, through the chair, just quickly. The reason why I'm still against this is we've got private landowners who have been inconvenienced and the insurance hasn't been good. We tried to tidy the insurance up, but it didn't get up. So, I won't be supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bailey. Anyone else? Councillor Ringe?
I'd like to speak for the motion, please. This is the substantive motion.
Substantive motion.
Right. And look, after looking at, I've been reading legislation, community council plans, policies, and reviewing all the community feedback, which I'm really grateful that I've received. But at the end of the day, I look at the Local Government Act 1995, and it states there that we make a decision for the interest of the whole district. And in doing so, going back to our council plan that has undergone a major review by the community They've all stated that art, culture, creative activities, festival, markets are ranked in the highest, in the top 10 that the community aspires to, and that's what they would like. So, and looking at and of course the purpose of this plan, the council plan, was heavily researched and developed to seek what the aspirations are to help our future decision making. That was the first reason. The second reason was going through all the conditions and reviewing all the improvements from previous years. I feel that the conditions cover and they assist to manage the risks to hold this event. That's there. And the last thing, which is probably it is related to it, it's in regards to farming land in general. Farming over the years has changed. People are they're sourcing alternate income for their land. And we've seen that in the development applications that have come through, the pine plantations, the extraction of gravel and sand. And also, going back a few years, we had an application for a sawmill because the land they've got doesn't generate enough income for their lifestyle. So times are changing, and I can see that farming we have to be creative on generating income for where we want to live. So for this, and looking at all the information I've gone through, I recommend council approve this event.
Thank you, Councillor Ringe. Would anyone else like to speak for or against the recommendation? Councillor Hall? Oh, Councillor Hall, you've already spoken. I'm sorry.
Just a clarification, I did propose an amendment, and I've done this previously. I just want it noted, I wish I'd spoken before for the whole motion, and I've missed my opportunity. I've acknowledged that. It's the second time I've done it. I've got 2 pages worth of notes here, but they're wasted. So that's all I needed to state. Thank you.
Yeah, I wish I could allow it, Councillor Hall, but I'm not allowed. Okay. I think then everyone has spoken. Councillor Patrick, right of reply.
Thank you. Again, appreciate everybody's thoughts, everybody's input, and everybody's consideration in relation to this. From my perspective, I can see that a lot of work's been put in by the applicant, a lot of work's been put in by the administration, a lot of recommendations and requirements, including the fire mitigation, the security, real insurance that actually exists is in place. And ultimately, I think it is of a great benefit to the community. I do sympathise for those that are against the application for their reasons, and I do understand it. And I do also understand that there is still risk in relation to the event potentially going on based on outside matters. But from a council perspective, I think it's a really good opportunity to continue to actually build something that is known. It's like the Bailing Up Medieval Festival. People come year after year. And I think to have other events of this size and this nature that are supported, that people will come to this community and this shire year after year is a really good benefit to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Patrick. Councillors, will now put the recommendation to vote. All those in favour?
That's Councillor Hall, Councillor Kean, Councillor Lindeman, Councillor McNabb, Councillor Patrick, Councillor Ringe, President McCarthy.
And those against?
Councillor Bailey and Councillor Purick.
Thank you, councillors. Take a breath. Okay, item 9.3.2 is on block. The Minninup Cottages and Langley Villas. Item 9.3.3 is also on block for the Preston Retirement Village. Item 9.3.4 is on block for the Walga Local Government Convention and Annual General Meeting. Brings us to item 9.3.5, the adoption of the ICT strategy and strategic roadmap. Would councillors like to move the motion? Councillor Hall. And a seconder. Councillor Ringe. Councillor Hall, would you like to speak to the motion before you make an amendment?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I actually don't support the recommendation. So should I speak to that now, or is that opportunity for me to speak to that now at this point?
Yes, you move the. You may
Great.
speak. You actually can speak now, and you get a
Great.
right of reply as well.
Gonna have a gag
You
order
can
on
speak
me?
twice, Councillor
All right,
Hall.
thank you. So I don't say that lightly. Obviously, I've read through this quite considerably. I've been involved with it in a bit more detail with ARIC. But I keep balancing it up against the considerable spend for this undertaking and the effects it may have on ratepayers. Again, it's not financially costed yet. I understand that. But I just want to probably say a few things first, is again, acknowledging that massive amount of work that's gone into it. It's 60 pages of bamboozly language that is hard to follow at times. But that's ICT to a lot of people. It's pretty mysterious. So I do accept that the recommendation at its core is a need for improvement. It's a forced change and modernisation of current systems that are out of date. I completely acknowledge that. But again, it keeps coming back to me for the amount of work and the scope of the work over a considerable period, under a considerable amount of spending, with a lot of costs that aren't even factored into the spending amounts there. And then I look at where we are as a shire and our size, and I just can't see that the ratepayers should bear the brunt of something that may have limited benefit to them. So I know that we're not approving expenditure or anything related to that tonight. We're approving the framework and the plan for the ICT strategy and those changes. To a degree, I support a lot of what's in there, but I can't, in good conscience, support a decision that may lead to a multiple percentage point of a rate increase. Again, this is not confirmed, it's all speculation, but at the moment, that's all we have to go by right now. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much the end of what I'll say. I can't support the executive recommendation for that one right now in its form.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Councillor Ringe.
Thank you for this. Look, the audit and risk, it's an interesting thing, because the audit and risk committee are always looking at ways of trying to minimise risk and put in improvements. And the IT system is an essential tool for staff, not only to be more efficient, but also it reduces risk and, and improves accuracy of records and all sorts of things. So I'm going to vote for this. This obviously doesn't put it in the budget today, but it does forecast, putting it in the long-term financial plan does forecast it for it to happen in the future sometime. And I think that's what we're going to look at, is the strategic look in the future, what we're going to do. Thank you.
Councillor Ringe. Would anyone like to speak against the strategy? Councillor Bailey.
Through the chair, likewise, I think it's, for a shire our size, it's too much money and too much investment.
Thank you, Councillor Bailey. I'd like to speak for the motion. And I'd like to just re-establish my area of specialty in this, having had responsibility for these matters for Cadbury Schweppes Asia Pacific. I believe as elected members we have a responsibility to ensure that the Shire is adequately prepared for the future, and this strategy provides a structured roadmap to address long-standing issues that expose our Shire to operational, financial and governance risks, including reliance on an end-of-life ERP system. We have fragmented technology platforms, limited governance arrangements, and ongoing cybersecurity vulnerabilities. Consequently, we rely heavily on manual awareness, intervention and controls, which introduces phenomenal risk. Importantly, the recommendation isn't seeking us to commit immediate funds to the technology projects that are captured in the strategy. Instead, it asks us to adopt the strategy as a guiding plan, while ensuring that any major investments are subject to further financial planning and workforce consideration and governance controls and ongoing oversight through the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. So it's a very balanced and well-packaged strategy. The proposed approach is both prudent and responsible because it acknowledges the significant cost and resourcing implications that are indicated within the strategy. To Councillor Hall's point, it is there, it's set out that that is an indicator. But it also provides governance and cybersecurity and risk management improvements and ensures that Council retains control over the program. And that's the important piece in this. We have control over every commitment or every investment we make in this as we go along. The Executive Officer report identifies that maintaining the way we are now is contaminated with risk. Continued reliance on the legacy ERP system approaching its end of life maintains a high level of service disruption, affecting core functions such as our finance, payroll, rates and customer services. Meeting that risk head-on leaves us in a very poor place. In contrast, the ICT strategy that we've read provides a path to mitigate these risks, and we're talking about a pathway of mitigating these risks, while improving legislative compliance, our efficiency and service delivery. Because bear in mind, these improved systems will create efficiencies down the track. It also boosts user knowledge. We'll end up with specialists that work with anyone that's implementing these systems. Our actual employees become super users within our own environment. And by adopting the strategy, Council's not committing to a fixed program of expenditure. We are not saying we're spending money now. It's committing to a disciplined planning framework that allows for future investment as guided by Council. The recommendation strikes the appropriate balance between recognising the urgency of the issues that are identified and ensuring implementation occurs within the Shire's financial capacity. And for these reasons, I support the recommendation wholeheartedly. Would anyone else like to speak for or against the recommendation? Councillor Patrick?
Thank you. Look, you've said pretty much most of what I was going to say. I've worked for very big organisations that have come to end of life and had very, very fragmented ICT systems, everything from procurement through to payroll, through to personnel, records management, all just a shambles, unrelated. And the ongoing costs added up more than what the replacement cost would have been had it have been planned for. I think something President McCarthy touched on, the cybersecurity risk, within the Shire administration systems is details of every single ratepayer and resident within this community. A lot of them, things like bank details due to reimbursements and so on system, on file. And, with what's going on in the world, these risks increase. And without having appropriate systems in place, I think it leaves us vulnerable from a risk perspective. As has been pointed out by a number of people, this isn't committing us to the funds at this point. It's about planning for it, and I think it's very prudent to plan for these sorts of replacements heading into the future. So very much recommend that we should be supporting this.
Thank you, Councillor Patrick. Would anyone else like to speak for or against the recommendation? Right of reply to Councillor Hall.
No, nothing further, thanks.
Councillors, will put that to vote. Those in favour of the strategy, of the recommendation?
Councillor Bailey, Councillor Hall, Councillor Kean, Councillor Lindeman, Councillor McNabb, Councillor Patch, that's unanimous, sorry.
Unanimous.
I was expecting something a bit different.
See what happens when we let you speak. All right. Moving on to 9.3.6, representation review, determination of preferred representation structure. Now, councillors, this is an absolute majority decision. Would someone like to move the recommendation? Oh, we've got a choice of recommendations here. CEO, how should I move on this?
Oh, well, the officer, sorry, through you, Chair, the officer's recommendation is the first one there, based on the feedback from the community. And then, as was briefed at the agenda briefing session, there is an alternate should you want to go for the second most popular.
Okay. So we'll move the executive recommendation. Would someone like to move that? Councillor McNabb, seconded Councillor Patrick. Councillor McNabb, would you like to speak to the motion? No? Councillor Patrick?
Thank you. Look, all I want to say on this one is, thank you to those members of the community that participated and provided a response. And I feel it's sort of my obligation to support what the majority of response was. And that's why I support this, because the majority of those that took the time and effort to respond have requested this outcome, and that's therefore what I'll support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Patrick. Would anyone like to speak against the recommendation? Would anyone like to speak for the recommendation?
Sure.
When you find your notes.
Thank you. I'm just speaking for having even considered myself that maybe 7 councillors would be saving money, etc., and now having the opportunity to sit in a council with a whole variety of new people coming from different demographics and so on. So I wrote that I did consider it for the saving of the money, but to ensure broad and diversified viewpoints, I see 9 to be appropriate. Less individual pressure for committees, more likely to have people from a range of townships and rural geographical area, a representation for vastly different industries and backgrounds, also giving more flexibility to those in family, full-time work or other life commitments. A truer representation of our community. Like I said, having worked with councillors around the table tonight, I definitely appreciate the experiences and the perspectives, especially those with children, small children. I haven't had a lot of those in the past, so it's a really nice change from having, is it the old grey nanas and grandpas that have often served because we had the time. And so we've been able to introduce it. That's what we wanted, and I feel that 9 allows us to have a bit of flexibility. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lindeman. Would anyone else like to speak for or against the motion? Right of reply, Councillor McNabb. Okay. Councillors will put that to vote. All those in favour? That's carried. Item 9.3.7, Donnybrook Baling Up Chamber of Commerce and Industry Committee Representative. And Councillor Ringe has declared an impartiality interest. So you can stay.
Yep.
No rainy day for you outside.
Did you want me to move it?
No. We can do if you'd like. But who would like to move that recommendation that Council appoint Councillor Leanne Ringe as Shire Representative to the Donnybrook Baling Up Chamber of Commerce and Industry Inc. Committee? Councillor Cowan and Councillor Hall, was it seconding? Yes. And Councillor Cowan, would you like to speak to the motion?
Only that Councillor Ringe will be a fantastic asset for the committee, and yeah, wish you well.
Thank you. Councillor Hall?
Nothing to add, thanks.
Councillor Lindeman?
I'd like to speak for this, but from the experience of working with the Chamber of Commerce and Leanne being there at the time, looking after, I think was secretary for a period of years. Yeah, treasurer, sorry, oops. But she was there for a number of years, and without her, really, it wouldn't have held together. She ran just about everything there, so she was really good, and also to be a councillor representative, to hear about business, but also to be a business owner herself. So I think she's a good selection for this role.
Thank you, Councillor Lindeman. I'd like to speak to the motion. I think it's an excellent fit and a valuable fit for the, especially with our economic development and tourism strategy in progress. And your commercial knowledge, your CPA, everything else goes together to make it a lovely fit. And I really appreciate you now wearing 2 hats at your Chamber of Commerce and Industry meeting. All right, anyone else like to speak for or against the motion? Right, Councillor, right, a reply for Councillor Keon?
All good.
I nearly tricked myself there. Okay, you done RC instead of RK. All right, councillors, we'll put that to vote. All in favour? Thank you, councillors. That brings us to item 10, elected member motions. Item 10.1, we have a motion from Councillor Lindeman. Number 10.1.1, the review of local firewood collection management practices and future options for the Shire of Donnybrook Balingup. And Councillor Lindeman, would you like to move your recommendation? And would someone like to second that? Councillor Patrick. Councillor Lindeman?
Yeah, thank you. I think there's enough information there and people are aware of this, but it was really just on the 1st of August 2026 I wrote an email to council outlining my observations whilst out in the bush daily. I've been walking in these areas and running in those areas surrounding Donnybrook within a 5-kilometre radius of the township for the past 15 years. I've observed a noticeable increase in firewood collection and the felling of old trees in these non-designated firewood collection areas. I have sent some accompanying photos that you may have seen. I would like to see the Shire actively begin to investigate what other shires are doing to manage this problem. That's probably, well, and I'd like council to support this motion in seeking information to assist us in forming a strategy for our Shire into the future, ensuring the preservation of our surroundings, forests, conservation areas, whilst managing the growing demand for wood collection. That's it.
Thank you, Councillor Lindeman. Councillor Patrick?
Can I at this point propose an amendment? Very, very small amendment.
And when you propose the amendment and it's seconded, you can speak. Yes, okay,
Okay?
thank you.
So my amendment is, after the recommendation, a report to be delivered to council, I just want to put a time frame on it. So
that's been put up.
Sorry? Oh, okay, sorry, it's up there. Okay. Well, you were generous. I was going to say November, but I was going to give you 3 months. But yeah, sorry, it was just about putting a time frame on it. So
And
that's up there as an amendment, or
No, that's the motion.
that,
okay, no worries. Okay, cool.
sorry, Councillor Lindeman sent out a note beforehand. But just for the sake of clarity, you're agreeing with that too, and you're happy with that, both mover and second? Okay, right. Now, did you want to speak to the motion, Councillor Patrick? Okay. Would anyone like to speak against the recommendation? For? Councillor Bailey?
It's more along the lines of a comment. The biodiversity group in Busselton have been advised of somebody cutting down green trees in Newlands, and they were advised probably 2 or 3 months ago. And these people are falling timbers at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they've got 50, 60 tonne there. Now, it's going to be impossible for everybody to police this, but maybe if we can encourage them to prosecute, we can use that for advertising that they shouldn't be coming here doing that.
Yeah.
Might be an easy way of doing it.
Thank you, Councillor Bailey. Would anyone else like to speak for or against? Councillor Purick?
Yeah, look, at first I had my reservations about this motion. I did speak to Councillor Lindeman about it, and it really is just about having that discussion. So I am supportive of this motion. It's an increasing issue. Firewood is collected, people need to warm their houses, but the rate at which it's going,
We need to understand it.
we need to understand. So it's just about having a discussion.
Thank you, Councillor Purick. Anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Hall?
Just a question for the CEO or director, just through the chair. Will there be any impacts to current works or any workload considerations that this motion getting thrown in would do?
I'm comfortable it can be achieved through you, Madam President. Yeah, we can bring the report back within that time frame, but thank you for the question.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion, for or against? Right reply, Councillor Lindemann?
No, thank you.
Councillors, will put that to vote. All those in favour? It's carried unanimously. Brings us to item 11, new business, and we have none. And item 12, meeting closed to the public. 12.1, matters which the meeting may be closed. At 12.1.1, RFT 2727370, tree pruning services. This report is confidential in accordance with section 5.23 4C and D of the Local Government Act 1995, which permits the meeting to be closed to the public. C, information contained in a tender received by the local government for a contract to the extent that the information is a tendered price, or 2, is a tendered methodology for calculating the price. And D, information in a tender received by the local government for a contract to the extent that 1, the information discloses any technology or manufacturing, industrial or trade process that the tender proposes to use in performing a contract, and 2, the information has not previously been made public, and 3, the making public of the information would be likely to have an adverse effect on the tender's business interests. So I'd like to move that council that the meeting be closed to the public to address the confidential report. Someone like to second that? Councillor McNabb. And all in favour? And the meeting has closed to the public at 7:04 p.m.
Just hang on, Viv. Just load it back up. Yep.
Okay.
All right, we're good.
So the meeting reopened to the public at 7:06 p.m. And at 12.2, the public reading of the resolution that may be made public, that Council 4 accepts the accepts the tender submitted by BDA Tree Services Proprietary Limited for contract number 2627370, tree pruning services, and authorises the Chief Executive Officer to enter into a contract with BDA Tree Services Proprietary Limited for the provision of the tree pruning services for a period of 3 years in accordance with the tender submission and contract conditions, and authorises the Chief Executive Officer to execute all documentation necessary to give effect to the contract. And that brings us to item 13, meeting closure. I can advise that the next agenda briefing session will be held on the 16th of September 2026 at 5 p.m. in the Shire of Donnybrook Balingup Council Chamber. And I can declare that the meeting is closed at 7:07 p.m.